Good morning, students. Today's topic is human capital. Human capital is the concept of human capital recognize that not all labor is equal, but employers can improve the quality of the capital by investing in employee. The education, experience, and ability of employees all have economic value for employers and for the economy as a whole. In this topic, this topic's objectives are human capital is an intangible asset not listed on a company's balance sheet and includes things like an employee's experience and skills. And next is since all labor is not considered equal, employers can improve human capital by investing in the training, education, and benefits of their employees. Human capital is perceived to have a relationship with economic growth, productivity, and profitability. And next, like any other asset, human capital can depreciate through long periods of unemployment and the inability to keep up with technology and innovation. And next is what is human capital? The human capital introduction is human capital is an intangible asset or quality not listed on a company's balance sheet. It can be classified as the economic value of a worker's experience and skills. This includes assets like education, training, intelligence, skills, health, and other things employees value, such as loyalty and punctuality. These are the human capital's value, and the human capital is important because it is pres- prescribed to increase productivity and thus profitability. So, the more a company invests in its employees, in their education and training, the more productive and profitable it could be. And next is understanding human capital. An organization is often said to only be as good as its people. Directors, employees, and leaders who make up an organization's human capital are critical its success. And the human capital is typically managed by an organization's human resources department. This department oversees workforce, acquisition, management, and optimization. Its other directives include workforce planning and strategy, recruitment, employee training and development, and reporting and analytic. Human capital tend to migrate, especially in global economies. That's why There is often a shift from developing places or rural areas to more developed and urban areas. Some economists have dubbed this a brain drain, making poorer places poorer and richer places richer. And this is the understanding of human capital. And next is calculating human capital. Calculating human capital, since human capital is based on the investment of employee skills and knowledge through education. These investments in human capital can be easily calculated. HR managers can calculate the total profits before the after any investments are made. Calculating human capital in any return on investment of human capital can be calculated by dividing the company's total profit by its overall investments in human capital. For example, if company X invests 2 million into its human capital and has a total profit of 15 million, managers can compare the ROI of its human capital year over year in order to track how profit is improving and whether it has a relationship to the human capital investment. And next, spatial consideration, human capital and economic growth. There is a strong relationship between human capital and economic growth because people come with the diverse set of skills and knowledge. Human capital can certainly help boost the economy. This relationship can be measured by how much investment goes into people's education. And some government recognize that this relationship between human capital and the economy exists, and so they provide higher education at little or no cost. People who participate in the workforce who have higher education will often have larger salary, which means they will be able to spend more. This type of human capital and economic growth. Next, does human capital dis- depreciate? The answer is like anything else, human capital is not immune to depreciation. This is often measured in wages or the ability to stay in the workforce. The most common ways human capital can depreciate are through unemployment, injury, mental decline, or the inability to keep up with innovation. And consider an employee who has a specialized skill. If they go through a long period of unemployment, they may be unable to keep these levels of specialization. That's because their skills may no longer be in demand when they finally enter of workforce. And next is the human resource capitalism. What is the human resource capitalism? The concept of human capital stems from the economic model of human resources. Capitalism, which emphasizes the relationship between improved productivity and performance and the need for continuous and long term investments in the development of human resources. And human resources, this model can be applied on a broad scale where investments in human capital are viewed as affecting national and global economic performance, or more narrowly, where investments in people are viewed as crucial to organization performance. That differs from a more traditional and instrumental approach where human resources are primarily seen as a cost to be contained beyond immediate view of performance by seeking government intervention to offset competition and by using cutback methods for keeping wages down, contracting out, and automating jobs. A human resource capitalism model argues that the principal sources of productive capacity, whether in a economy or organization, reset in the capacity of people. Therefore, strategies need to be developed to capitalize on the potential of this resource by developing learning system that will cause the capacity of human capital to grow into the future for our national economy. This may entail reinforming educational institutions to ensure the provision of a quality workforce that fits the needs of industry for high economic productivity and the maintenance or improvement of the national quality of life. For an organization, this model suggested that high productivity and performance depend on developing learning systems that reflect the commitment of an organization to its human resources. As a result, ongoing Investments in training, skill, engender a reciprocal commitment among members of organizational goals and capitalism. And next is managing human capital. Managing human capital, the management of human capital is diffused throughout an organization. All management decisions can actions and that affect the nature of the relationship and between the organization and its employees are seen important. And as a result, all management actions can positively or negatively affect the potential of human capital to influence organization performance. In this view, although organization may contribute to the development of human capital, its ownership resets with each individual. Collectively, all the knowledge, skills, and abilities within an organization and available at any given time constitute a human capital pool. Although this talent is available to achieve positive performance, the totality of management practice needs to constantly tap this human capital pool in such way as to influence individual and group attitudes and behavior toward the desired organizational goals. This is the managing human capital. And next is human capital and performance. Reciprocal commitment in our organization suggests that a relationship exists between certain management practices and performance at a point where the total effort of human capital condenses into a critical mass, high organizational performance seems possible. Here, human capital fully developed and tapped appropriately can influence organization level outcomes. And empirical research in the private sector appears to identify specific management practice as universally supervisor to other in achieving firm level outcomes such as market share and profitability. This universal perspective has led to benchmarking certain practice as best for contributing to high performance. Empirical research in the public sector establishing such a relationship is scarce. This may be the result of difficulties in measuring government level outcomes and being able to clearly establish this connection because outcomes are often influenced by a myriad to variable outside the control of public management. Even so, the same supervisor management practices thought to favorable influence human capital in private enterprise have been often adopted in public administration reforms. This is the performance of human capital. And next, Baker. Baker differentiate between general and specific human capital. Specific, first of all, we see specific human capital. Specific human capital is training or education that benefits only one company. This is the specific human capital. And the next is general human capital. General human capital is training or qualities that benefit the individual at any company. The training individual at any company. So this is the general human capital and that is the specific human capital. And Baker found that companies were more likely to pay for specific human capital, while individuals paid for general human capital investments. Firms were less interested in investing in workers who might then be produced by competitors. This is the Baker differentiated general and specific capital. And next is the type of human capital. What type of human capital? Human capital include any human quality or value that can improve economic output and productivity because these are intangible assets that cannot be separated from individual workers. Qualifying them can be difficult and however they consistently lead to increase economic performance. Human capital can include qualities like which type of qualities? Education, technical or non the job training, health, mental and emotional well-being, punctuality, possible problem solving, pupil management, communication skills, and investment in these qualities improve the ability of the labor force. The result is greater output for the economy and higher income for the individual. These are the human capital qualities. And next, human capital and education. Human capital and education, Baker's research focused on education. Baker pointed out that the cost of education included time as well as money. Pursuing an education means that students lost the opportunity to work, travel, or have children. Pupil only pursue an education if the potential income gain was greater than the cost. And Baker's research was limited in that it focused much on the education of white men rather than diverse groups of people. And next is human capital. Baker's theories explained how investing in education benefited people, comprise and countries. The majority of the states that spend the most on education also have median household incomes that are higher than the national median. And next, human capital and economic mobility. Human capital and economic mobility, like investment in human capital benefit individual workers as well as the economy in which they participate, create greater earning potential and an increased ability to build wealth. This is particularly true of education. And these investment is the human capital and mobility. And next is improved childhood education. Families headed by educated parents earn more than those without college degrees. They are likely to either live in wealthier neighborhoods with better schools or can afford private schools. These children then receive a better education than children of lower earning parents. As a result, children of better educated parents have greater earning potential and economic mobility. And this mobility, upward mobility effect of college. Then higher education improves the upward mobility effect. When a child is born into a family without a college degree, once the child earn a diploma, the entire family becomes wealthier. And a federal reserve, reserve study found that a child earning a college degree can boost family wealth by 20 spots in the rankings. Families in which both the parents and child graduated college improved by only 11 spots in the ranking. By contrast, lacking a college degree can create a downward mobility effect. Children with college educated parents who did not graduate college fell 18 places in rankings in wealth. Children whose parents did not graduate from college fell 10 places in ranking in wealth. This is the mobility effect of college. And next is education investment in the United States. The United States does not invest in human capital like education at the same level that other development countries do. Between 2012 and 17, US public spending on education increased by around 10%. This was slightly higher than the average for all countries surveyed, although other developed countries increased spending even more, and US investment in higher education is also falling behind that of other countries. According Americans aged 25 to 34, only 50% have a college level education. That's lower than in 9 other countries, such as South Korea and Ireland, where 70% of young people are college educated. This is the investment of education in the United States. This type of education investment in other state. And the other reason for lower education investment in that higher education in the US is more expensive than in many other countries. The average annual cost of tuition fee, room, and board for a 4-year public college for the 2020 221 schools year was 20 to 180 for state residents, for 38 to 640 dollar for out of state student. As a result, children for families that are already wealthy are more likely to attend college. This decreases economic mobility in the United States by limiting who revise a college education. It also limits the increases in human capital, which in turn limits economic growth. This is all the investment in the United States. And next, factors that determine human capital. Many factors are there: skills and qualification, education level, work experience, social skill, communication, intelligence, emotional intelligence, judgment, personality, hardworking, harmonious in an office habits, and personality traits, creativity, ability to innovate new working practices, products, fame and brand image of an individual. Example celebrates paid to endorse a product. Geography, social peer pressure of local environment can affect expectation and attitudes. This is the factor to determine human capital. And next is the human capital in primary and secondary sector. In agricultural and manufacturing, human capital was easier to measure. The human capital of an assembly line worker could be measured in simple term of productivity and example the number of widgets produced per hour. In meaning human capital may be strongly related to physical strength and quantity of coal produced per day. And next, the human capital territory sector, knowledge economy. The territory service sector has a great variety of jobs which require different skills. These skills and qualities are often more difficult to measure regarding output. For this example, the human capital of a teacher cannot be measured by university degree or A levels. The best academic may lack some teaching skills like empathy, the ability to inspire, and commanded a class. And the next is how to increase human capital. This is the main increasement of human capital. First is specialization and division of labor. Next is education, vocational training, a climate of creativity, infrastructure, competitiveness. This is the increase of human capital. And the next is the criticism. Criticism of human capital theories. The theory of human capital has received a lot of criticism from many people who work in education and training. In the 1960s, the theory was attacked primarily because it legitimized bourgeois individualism, which was seen as selfish and exploitative. The bourgeois class of people included those of the middle class who were believed to exploit those of the working class. And the human capital theory was also believed to blame the people for any defects that happened in the system of making capitalists out of workers. And these are the meaning of and criticism of human capital theories. And capital is available to generate material wealth for an economy or a private firm. In a public organization, human capital is available as a resource to provide for the public welfare. How human capital is developed and managed by maybe one of the most important determinant of economic and organizational performance. This is the topic of human capital. At the end of the topic is the references. References is there. These all references of this topic is your help. The or more topics are in their references of human resources also. And next, the end of this topic, MCQ is there. First question is, which of the following is not a merit of human capital formation? Improves technical knowledge, enlarges the size of business, increases cost of production, changes social outlooks. The answer of this question is increases cost of production. C is the answer of this question. And next question is, which of the following is not an indicator of education level? Option 1 is A is years of schooling, B life expectation expectancy, C teacher pupil ratio, D enrollment rate. In years, what is the answer of this question? The answer is life expectancy is the right answer of this question. And next question is, which level of education take a major share of total education expenditure in India? First is elementary, secondary, higher, and tertiary. The answer of this question is elementary. Elementary is the right answer because elementary is the education takes a major share of total education expenditure in India. And the next question, which of the following is not the role of on-the-job training? Eradicates inequality, encourages innovation, promotes modern methods, and enhances productivity. These are the options. And what is the right answer? Right answer is enhancing productivity. Enhance productivity is the right answer of this question. And next question is the stock of skill, ability, expertise, education, and knowledge in a nation at a point of time known as. First is the human development, natural capital, human resources, and the human capital. What is the answer? The answer of this question is human capital. And next question is dash and dash are the twin pillars on which rests the edifice of social sector reforms. First is education and poverty, next, education and health, education and infrastructure, education and employment. What is the right answer? The right answer is education and health. Education and health are the twin pillars on which the rest of edifice of social sector reforms. And next question is source of human capital formation is expenditure on industries, expenditure of health, expenditure of building, and expenditure on textile. The right answer is expenditure on health is the right answer. And the next question, human capital consists of an entrepreneurship, both workers and entrepreneurship, workers and entire population. Human capital consists of, right answer is entire population. And next question is a major problem faced by the human capital formation in India is rising population, developed technology, rising prices, devaluation of currency. The right answer is rising population. And at the last question is literacy referred to all urban people, all educated people, or rural educated people, all ability to read and write. What literacy refer to? The answer is the ability to read and write is the right answer. That's all about the topic. At the end of the topic, thank you